Hi, everybody.
Yay, we're live. It's Batman time.
No, 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 no.
No,
Different Batman.
absolutely.
Although also a wonderful Batman.
Yeah, still good.
Seriously, I know that the animated series is your favorite. I'm
So
just
much my
saying.
favorite. Like, Michael Keaton's also a great Batman.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you said that you changed your mind and we were going to watch the best episode of the Batman TV show with Adam West,
Yes.
I would be really sad, Steve.
Well, because that wasn't the deal. The deal was we're watching Robin's Reckoning on the animated series.
I know, and I have this
That's
thing
the deal.
about when I say we're going to do this, that I'm going to do this thing, that I follow through on the thing.
Yes, you are very much a follow througher.
I try to be.
I think you are.
Apparently, I'm not.
Well, if you're not, it's not for lack of trying. So anyway, welcome everybody.
Hi,
Yes,
folks
we will be watching not one but two episodes.
of the animated series.
Although perhaps we could consider it one episode because it's a two-parter, but we are watching part 1 and part 2 of Robin's Reckoning on Batman the Animated Series. And Dana and I are both
So
watching
good.
it on Dana and I are
HBO
both watching
Max.
it on HBO Max. So wherever you are watching it, the way we're going to do this is just like we do on Wednesdays for Trek Reluctantly, and like we've done for previous editions of the Back Row when we watched Galaxy Quest and 9 to 5. Just whatever you're watching it on, just have it paused at 0 at the very beginning. And then when I do the countdown in a few minutes and we start watching, that way when we all hit play at the same time, we're all hitting play from 0. So there you go.
Theoretically, now, like, if
Theoretically.
well, because like if you've got it on DVD or something, it may not play the logo at the beginning of the episode. You know what I mean? So it might be
That's
a little
true.
bit off. I don't think that'll really matter though, because it's not like we're singing along or anything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, being a second or two ahead or behind, it's okay, folks. I
Yeah.
absolutely promise it's okay.
Yeah. It's
So,
not like we're not doing a riff track where it has to be perfectly synced as long as we're all
yeah.
more or less, I mean,
In this, if you're on the right episode, that
if you're on the
helps.
right episode and you're within a second or so, and I will have the time code up top as
Mhm.
always when we start watching it, so that if you do need to catch up or whatever, it'll be available for that. And we are going to watch episode 1, and then we'll stop and we'll talk about it for a little bit, give everybody a chance to queue up part 2, and then we'll do the same thing for part 2. So we'll give you a chance to
You get one
find the
chance.
you get one chance,
You get no,
not one more chance, just one chance.
just the one.
So I want to circle back to something you said a minute ago.
Yeah.
Well, don't say it. It's nothing bad. You say
Well,
it
I
so
don't
like,
know that yet.
yeah. You said Michael Keaton was also a good Batman,
Yes. I
but
said Michael Keaton was also a great Batman.
you also a great Batman. Pardon me,
Mhm.
but the rap on Michael Keaton as Batman for decades has been that he was okay as Batman, but that he was great as Bruce Wayne. What are your thoughts on that?
It he does I mean, he doesn't have I don't think he has the right look for Bruce Wayne.
Interesting.
I, I Cary Grant. I've always pictured Bruce Wayne. I mean, and Michael Keaton
Yes.
just looks different. Very different. Um we've actually been watching the Zorro Adventures, the series.
Hmm.
which is fun. Because of course Batman is heavily influenced by Zorro,
Oh,
except
absolutely.
and especially as it went on. But the series came after Batman existed. So my husband
Yeah.
actually got a copy of the book and just recently read it. And it's a very different, he's much more blasé. Like I think it's his dad who mentions that, one of the other Dons, his daughter has returned from finishing school, and you should go and at least pay your respects,
Mhm.
and possibly. And so he goes over and says, well, um, let your, just tell your daughter that, uh, there's an offer of marriage and see what she thinks. And I, women, does it really need to be all that music and flowers and la la la? It's just seems so unnecessary. And just, I don't have time for all of that. Just, I don't really care about anything. So still somewhat, not exactly oafish, charming, but just like, whatever. Just
Yeah.
I don't care about. I'm just so over everything. Life.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, ennui. That's the word that I was trying to capture. Yes, he suffers from ennui. As is he Don Diego or is that his dad? I can't remember. I could have told you if I hadn't tried to think of it. But
I thought
anyway,
Don
so
Diego Vega was Zorro.
okay, so yeah, Don
Yeah,
Diego. I get I
I
get him and
think.
his dad mixed up. Yeah, Don Diego.
But I've
So
never
yeah,
read any of the original material, so I don't know. But
yeah.
I
That
always
that
thought
that
it was
sounds.
him.
I'm like I know Don Diego's either him or his father. And Kara maybe, but just yeah.
I think Cary Grant is a good reference. I'll tell you also who I think would have made, like if they were making big budget A-list superhero movies in the 40s and 50s and they did a Batman movie like that, Gene Kelly. I think Gene Kelly would have been a fantastic Bruce Wayne and also a fantastic Batman.
He does. He plays over the top in a different sort of way that also would work. But and he's very charismatic. But there's an intensity about him in almost all of his roles that I think I don't want Bruce Wayne to have. I want the character to have it when he's Batman, to carry that level
Mm-hmm.
of intensity. Um and is Cary Grant one in the one with the T, and uh the one I always get mixed up with Notorious. Is he in Notorious?
He's in Notorious, yes.
Okay. So yeah, I think there's some intensity there.
And he's great
But
at Notorious. Yeah.
yeah, in but in when he's the at the end he pretends to be crazy. Help. Why can't I remember that?
Are you think is
I'm a roost. I'm the son of a sea cook.
Oh, Arsenic and Old Lace.
Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't come up with that.
You know what's hilarious? You introduced me to that movie, and you couldn't remember it just now. Yes,
It's a great
Arsenic
movie.
and Old Lace. Like, yeah,
So yeah, that
yeah,
that sort of like la 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 la. There's like a detachment. He's not as, you know, internally intense
yeah.
as he can be. And I think that division works. I don't know that I've seen the just sort of, with Gene Kelly, it's much smoother and not as like blah 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 blah, which is what
Yeah.
I would want from Bruce Wayne.
I just want to point out Jason has joined us in the chat, Opinionville, and Jason says Gene Kelly would make a great Captain Marvel, referring, of course, to the original Captain Marvel, now known as Shazam. Presumably, I assume he doesn't mean the Marvel version of Captain Marvel, which did not exist when Gene Kelly was, or
Yeah,
maybe I don't know. I don't think it did exist in
there
the
might
40s.
might have been
But
some overlap, but I don't think so now.
no, when Gene Kelly was in his prime, I can see that. I think Gene Kelly would have been a good Captain Marvel. I can see that.
Yeah, I don't
And
know. I don't
255
see
AD,
Captain Marvel as broadly moving. You know,
255 AD, we're watching both parts of
yes,
Robin's Revenge.
we're
Anyway,
watching the first part,
yeah,
pausing to talk, and then watching the second one. So both
yes,
parts this Friday. Um,
indeed. So yeah. Oh, but
yeah,
anyway, back to
awesome.
Michael Keaton. I find it interesting that you're you're basically taking the opposite of the opinion that I described, where you're
Yeah.
saying that he doesn't work as good for you as Bruce Wayne as he does for Batman. I agree with your reasons why, because like if you do see Bruce as like the, impossibly handsome, like Cary Grant type,
Debonair, you know.
yeah, then yeah, that's not Michael Keaton. But the reason why I think people say Michael Keaton was a great Bruce, and why, and I also, this is, I share this opinion. I do think, I mean, I think he's good as Batman too, but I think as Bruce, he's especially good because he, through his, yes, Jason, please, no more spoilers, okay? Um, through his performance in those two movies where he plays Bruce, um, he makes Bruce Wayne so much more interesting to watch than he is just by the way the character is written. Like Bruce in Batman and Batman Returns, Bruce Wayne doesn't really have a whole lot to do in terms of what is scripted for him, but Michael Keaton just has this way of playing him where he's always looking around. He always seems distracted by something. Like when he's, especially when, I mean, sometimes when he's talking to Alfred, he's not like that so much, but when he's talking to other people who aren't in the secret club, who don't know that he's Batman, he always
Mhm.
seems like he's always thinking about something else, or he's looking around, or he's, and I just, it makes him so much more interesting to watch
I'll
than,
have to go. I mean, I haven't
yeah,
watched it in ages.
yeah.
Um, 255D, yes, there will be the timer will reset because we'll be watching a new episode.
Yes, yeah, don't worry about it. We're we're gonna watch the first part, and then that'll be over, and I'll reset the timer, and we'll talk for a few minutes to give everybody a chance to queue up part two, and then we'll watch part two from scratch. So the timer will be correct for both parts. It's all good. Yes. Okay. Now the cat's out of the bag. Thanks to Jason.
So,
Robin's
Mr. I Love
parents
You,
die.
you said
Yes.
few actors have the range to play both. I just don't agree. I really don't agree. I just don't think it's that hard. I'm sorry, that's your job. I like, I mean, I
Well, I
doesn't seem
mean,
like it's hard.
as far as Superman and Clark,
Some of
and
it also depends on the writing and the direction. A lot of
here,
it does.
here's the thing. And I think everybody who knows me and everybody who watches my stuff knows I adore the character of Superman. He's one of my favorite fictional people in all of fiction, right? I have nothing but love for the character. It's not that complex of a role
It's
for an
really not.
actor.
It's really
Um,
not.
I mean,
Both parts are pretty broad.
if you find an actor who is the right physical type and can play kindness
Hmm.
convincingly, that's pretty much it. Like as long
And
it's not like,
genuineness.
I mean, it helps to have comic timing if you're going to do Clark Kent the way Christopher Reeve did. I mean, look, Christopher Reeve gave a genius performance as Superman and Clark, and the way he did it by playing Clark as like this almost cartoonishly bumbling guy, you know, and then Superman was just the paragon of kindness and idealism and heroism, and you're just like, like that was brilliant. And Christopher Reeve went above and beyond with that, right? You can do it the way Tyler Hoechlin does it on Superman and Lois, and it works beautifully.
Mhm.
You don't, and again, I'm not to take nothing away from him as an actor because he is fantastic as Superman and Clark on that show. But yeah, it's not that, I mean, if you're a competent actor and you're in the ballpark in terms of the physicality, to me, it's not that challenging of a role.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I think we've told the story about this before, but yeah, like uh Anthro, I think you said that this is we're watching this because it's one of my I think I'm guessing it's pretty much one of everybody's favorite episodes.
It's one of the best episodes
It's one of the best episodes.
of the series. Yeah.
Full stop. But yeah, this was the episode that introduced me to Batman the animated series and to Batman.
That's right.
Without this, we wouldn't know each other.
Yes. This is for the two of us. This is the most important Batman episode, because if you hadn't seen this, you wouldn't have gotten into Batman, and if you hadn't gotten into Batman, we would never have met. So really, you know, we would not we would not be doing this live stream if you had not seen this episode back in what, 1996, 1997, whenever you
No, it must have been 95, because that was the year I graduated high school. Yeah.
Oh, okay. 90.
Yeah.
That's right, because it was your first year of college?
No, it was my senior year. I was in high school because
you were doing the newspaper.
I was doing the newspaper at high school, and we were there on a Saturday, and it was Saturday morning, and it came on after either they were going to have a Duke game, and it ended up not running, and we just had the TV out of habit, or it was after the Duke game, because the newspaper advisor was a big Duke fan. So we always had that.
So you always had the TV on game day.
Yep, always had the TV for game day. And like I loved laying out the paper and seeing how I could make things fit. And like once the article was dropped in, because we didn't have computer editing all the way back then. Slight tangent. I remember when we got our first digital camera.
Oh.
Yes. This camera was one, it was about this big, and you inserted a 3.5 disc into the camera.
Oh, I remember those.
Photos. And I'm just
remember those. Yes, I never actually had one, but I remember those.
Polaroid camera. Oh my gosh. So anyway, but yeah, and then you could just upload the photos to the computer. It was really cool.
And it was state of the art. It was like, we're living in the future. It takes the picture and it prints it right onto a floppy disk. It's like, how,
Yes.
This was before, for all the youngsters out there, this was when a camera was a separate thing that wasn't just on your phone.
Yes.
This was when there are things that are cameras.
Yeah. So yeah, and so usually I would just be there, and I love, like, I would go and I would work on the newspaper during lunch. Like I would not go to the cafeteria. I would just eat my lunch in there, and like I would go before and after school. I loved it. I love fiddling with choosing fonts for headlines so that they didn't butt heads, so that there was consistency to the page, but that things looked each article had its own section, and it was great. And I could not concentrate on my page layout. I got so
engrossed
into the story. I really was. And I was hooked. And we didn't have TV. So I got home and I begged my mom to call her friend to ask her, because like, I mean, I was pretty much a loner in high school. I got along with my classmates. I didn't have any close friends. None. There's literally nobody from my graduating class that I keep in touch with. I see them on Facebook and comment on their posts sometimes when something happens, and we stay in touch. We wish each other happy birthday, but that's about it.
So you had no one you could call to be like, can you tape Batman for me next Saturday? You had to reach out.
Not that I had to. But the other thing was, I think there was probably a part of me, and this is me sort of, I don't remember feeling this way, but there was probably a part of me that thought it would make me look like a loser.
Well, it's
Dana, can't you just watch TV? No, I can't. We don't have television.
We don't have those.
Exactly. You don't have television? What's wrong with you? So I think there may have been a little bit of that as well. I asked my mom to ask her to tape it for me, because we had a television and we had a VCR, because we'd gotten TV like almost a decade before, when we had an exchange student come to live with us, and we'd gotten a television and we'd signed up for cable. And so let me tell you, we watched TV all the time. It was like television was it. And then exchange student left, mom and dad turned off the cable. Dang it. So that was it. And so yeah, then I got that episode, and it must have been early in 1995, because after that, after I saw that, I'm like, please, 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 for my birthday, can we have television again? That's what I want, because I want to keep watching this. And we did. And then I have two younger brothers, and they got to keep having TV all the way up through high school. I
Spoiled
know,
little
right?
brats.
So
In
yeah.
my day, I had to call people to tape TV shows for me.
And then I went to college, and we had campus internet, and
And
so
while all your classmates were doing drugs and hooking up, you were watching TV.
no, I was on the goss.
That's right. Well, not
Yep.
24/7. Presumably you had other things to do, but yeah.
I know, and you couldn't just take the internet with you.
I
It
know.
you
You had
go.
to sit in front of a stationary computer that couldn't leave the room.
And let me tell you, I got really good. I got really fast at on a like the number pad at putting my so you had to log in with your social security number, and I'm just like, I can still do it.
Oh, in the school system, yeah.
Yeah, I just and
Yeah.
you know the whoever was, you know, whichever student worker was there was like, wow, I'm like, I like it here. Oh my goodness.
I want to mention a little bit earlier when we were talking about actors playing Superman, 255 AD said it's not that complex of a role. I mean, if Dean Cain can handle it, how hard could it be? Good point. Dean Cain, not on very many people's lists of, you know, the best actors, and also turns out a shitty human being, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
But
that's a separate axis.
But a fantastic Superman, a fantastic Clark Kent, you know. Yeah. It's a shame that he didn't internalize any of the morality of the character after he played him.
Mr. I Love Dance, that sounds so secure that
Entering
the
your
Game Boy camera.
what is it about?
To log in?
To log in? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it was about as secure as anything. They didn't see it. It was just programmed into the system. So, I mean, it wasn't like the number didn't come up. You would put in your number, and then your name would pop up that you were a student there. So, I mean, it's no different than writing your social security number down on like an employment application on a piece of paper that you hand to someone.
And who knows how many times they're photocopying that, passing it around, going, look at this social, you know? You know, that's what they do.
So much. Honestly, nobody cares. Nobody cares what your social is.
You know, they do it at the at the Motor Vehicle Association too. Pass around each other's socials, you know. They see you. Huh?
From what do you call?
Oh, you do it from Zootopia?
From Zootopia, yeah. You say that, and that was where my brain immediately went.
Yeah. So shall we watch part 1?
Yeah.
Everybody
Kara,
ready?
that's called acting. Let me make sure. Yep, I'm hovering over it. I'm at 0,000 out of 2216. So there is, I mean, there is a little bit of stuff.
And since somebody might ask, we are not skipping the opening either time.
No!
We are watching the opening both times.
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Oh my gosh.
Because you know, it's good.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yes,
brilliant.
well, I hope it is fun, John, and hopefully you have the episode queued up on your end so you can watch along with us. So, yes.
2 things. Don't let me forget in between that I want to talk about the gun, which I think is in the opening.
Okay.
And also this, which I forgot to talk about.
Yes. Well,
so we'll start the episode because
okay, and then we can talk about So, Anthro, Dana and I are watching the version on HBO Max.
I actually do have a recording, but it's on VHS.
You know, I recorded when Batman the Animated Series started in 1992. I was in the peak of my adolescent or pre-adolescent at that point Batman fandom, and I recorded every episode on VHS as it aired for like the first probably the first, actually I think probably for that entire first 65 episode run. And I would sit there and watch it and pause at the commercials and then start again when the commercial was over so that I didn't get commercials in it. And I had like a library of VHS tapes of of
Oh,
Batman
I love
episodes
stories
taped right
about
off
Wee
TV.
Small Steve.
Yeah.
Um, so is the
So,
one your mom made back in the day 255 AD? For that question, you're gonna have to give us more details because I'm not
yeah.
sure it's difficult to tell what you're referring to because we're on a bit of a delay
Yeah.
from you guys. Or you're on
Okay.
a delay from us. So yeah,
So,
let's watch the
so
show. Let's watch the
this
show.
works just like on Wednesdays. I'll say 3, 2, 1, play. Everybody hit play when I say play, and we will watch part 1 of Robin's Reckoning.
But there will be no Wordle. Just us talking.
Here we go.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, play.
That first. Oh, and those creepy police helicopters. Oh my God, it's so good. Look at that. Whang, whang. Gosh, yes. Oh, crushed my heart,
Yes.
Anthro. She deserves so much better. Oh.
So a couple things about this opening that you probably don't, I mean, that everybody knows, but you don't notice while you're watching it. No voices, no titles. There is no Batman the
Nothing.
Animated Series title
It's
in the
the
original
animation
opening. It's
and the
just,
music. Oh, it's
yeah.
beautiful. Zeppelins. Thank you, Mr. I Love Dance. Oh, I love
Uh-huh.
it.
Batgirl's
Oh,
pregnant and it's mine. Uh-huh.
okay. I'm going to try so hard not to recite this episode.
Jason has a good question. How did a squad car fail to catch 2 men on foot running down an alley? You're asking too many questions. Oh, he's dead.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. I love that these guys dressed up. Like, look how Natalie attired they are. Two of them are wearing bow ties. Two of them are wearing bow ties.
I mean, it's part of the aesthetic, okay?
And double-breasted suits. Like
Zoot suits.
Hang on, just gonna scooch by you here. Oh shit.
Look at that. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I know 255 AD, but like how many 30s gangsters were doing shit on, naked beams of under construction skyscrapers? They care exactly. I'm gonna go blow up a construction site, but let me dress first. They're professionals. Boy, God, he put in the unlimited ammo code for that rivet gun. My God. Come on. Yes, Jason. They would have killed themselves without Batman's help. And he falls and dies. Oopsie.
Oh, look at his face.
Oh, and he broke his neck just like Gwen Stacy. Oh, I hate it when he yells at me in front of the Skells.
Yeah, 255 AD. He's a vigilante. Yeah, David Cedric.
I love how Conroy just bites into Scumbucket in that line. All
Oh,
right,
God.
Scumbucket.
You're going to tell me exactly.
How did he build that ramp?
With money.
With money. That's true. Marin is doing really well these days. And he's got a new comedy special on HBO Max that is hilarious. Batman doesn't do 3-point turns. He has a turntable. Well, I'll go back to bed then. You could at least finish your cake. Oh, there's a files access
Oh,
button. That's
so
convenient.
convenient.
Yeah. Those are some eclectic nicknames. Good
Like,
thing
I'm
he
literally getting my arm hairs are standing up.
Good thing he pressed the "Who is he really?" button.
He's used to it, Mr. I Love the Ants.
I didn't even need to type his SS in. That's good.
Well, they didn't have the separate number pad. It would have been inconvenient.
Uh, 255 AD, I have not seen Boardwalk Empire, no. All right, this is just a practice, but we don't have a net up for some reason. Stampy.
Sitka, excuse you.
Jason. More like dying Graysons. Everybody remember that my name is Tony Zuko. You know, my entire family was killed. That's the elephant talking.
Hilariously.
The
Grandest show on
grandest.
earth.
Yes.
That's very
Yes.
important.
Legally distinct from that other circus.
Oh, I love this.
Oh, what a clumsy oaf am I. Oh, geez. It's none of your business, Dick. It's Annette's day off.
Yeah. Oh gosh, Shirley Walker's score.
And that is really well done.
It's just beautiful.
And a much more effective way to handle it than just showing them fall, you know? Like, bullock in the bag. Plus, they're Cardi scum. 255 AD. He's on home study. And one day you'll own the circus in the comics. But anyway. I mean, did the clown put on his makeup to say goodbye to Dick? Like, it's clearly like the next day or something.
I don't think so. I mean, look at the sky. I think it's supposed to be like middle of the night, but we can, not so dark that we can't see.
I'm just saying, I think it's funny that the clown was all made up in his full clown makeup.
Oh, I figured it was after the show.
I hope that's not symbolic of something.
Yeah, I would think they had like a tutor.
And I just want to tell you, the death of your parents is something you'll never, ever get over.
Oh, no, he doesn't say that yet. Does the hurt ever go away? I wish that I could say that it
It
does,
it
but
gets
it
a
will
little
get
better if
better
you're
in time. No,
when you're
it
beating
will get better in time for you.
when you're beating up criminals, it feels a little better.
That definitely that takes the focus off the pain.
Two, 250,
I haven't ever been able to process it, but maybe you can.
255 AD, Tim Drake's father was alive for a while. So there is precedent for having at least a parent alive while you're being Robin. Why'd you say it like that? Oh, various prostitutes, Master Dick.
I love Alfred.
Hey, Bruce Wayne, why are you wearing a fake whiskers and shabby clothes? I like to think that it's actually grease paint, like Emmett Kelly or
Smudgy.
something. Yeah. You wouldn't happen to know his exact address, would you? Boy, he really worked hard on that secret identity, didn't he?
Grab the
Bye.
money. Go on,
Smart,
take the money and
smartest guy
run.
there.
Except he doesn't keep running. You got to get all of it. Now he's dumb.
Oh shit! It's Batman Smith.
I love this.
Well, that was easy. I was kind of hoping I'd get to hit him a little bit.
I think, Seth, I think it's for kids. And just in case they didn't know that that was Batman,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah, because
this is Batman.
because if it was if it was matches, then he would have burned his secret because they all found out that he was really Batman.
Yeah.
That's my name.
Obviously I can. Just, his delivery. So good.
Why did he put a ketchup cup from Burger King under his chair's arm like that, though? I don't.
Well, I mean, he couldn't find a trash can and he didn't want to
Okay.
litter.
He just wanted to stick it. Yeah. I curse the fucking day you were born. I love how it lights up, just to give him the best chance of finding the bug.
Woo! See, this is what happens when you rush. Gets my undivided attention.
Don't you lay this trip on me now, Alfred. Yeah, but all I had was you.
You're so mean, Steve.
Still crying about your dead parents? I hate baseball. No, a painting of my mom and dad.
They're dead. My parents are dead. Not for me.
Not for
I'm
me.
gonna suffer forever.
How'd you get this number?
Oh no.
He did not just hang up on me.
Not this time, Alfred.
Visor flip. What's this? Dissension in the Batcave?
What? No! No! What?
All right, everybody, let's stop there. And I will stop and reset the timer. And go ahead and queue up part 2, if you would, and we'll chat for a little while.
David C. Drake, no, we started before the WB logo at 0000 on HBO. So we didn't start at the beginning of the opening because if you listen, the music actually starts during the WB logo.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss any of Shirley Walker's lovely score. And yeah, when she died, I was just like,
yeah.
And that's what got me looking into like movie scores and movie composers, really looking for it's not very diverse. And
no,
she worked with Danny Elfman a lot, but there's very little that she did on her own that we have, and I feel kind of cheated. Like that's what bigotry does. It's it for all the people talking about reverse sexism, reverse racism, that this person got the job not because they were the best candidate, but because they were a minority and they had people needed to fill the quota. And it's just that's not how it works. It's the other way around. And people get opportunities because of who they have it across, and making a good impression on those people. And something that helps you make a good impression is looking like you belong. And I've always wondered what we've missed out on.
Yeah.
And she's the one who her work specifically on the animated series was what got me started thinking about that.
Absolutely. Her scores are, and I mean, the score, she also did the score for Mask of the Phantasm, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Her work on the animated series in general is excellent, but the Mask of the Phantasm score is just terrific.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and that was all her. Um, okay, you wanted to talk about the gun
Yeah, which was
in
not,
the
I was
opening.
watching for it. Yes.
Yeah.
So it might be in once they go to, I mean, I think it's from, it might even be from Perchance to Dream. This is your favorite episode, yes?
It's not my favorite episode, but it's a really good episode. Oh,
One of
are
your
you thinking of the
favorites.
floating gun?
Yes. That like it comes up out of the drain, the the drainage ditch where there's a pipe and it flows into the drainage ditch and the gun comes out of the drainage ditch. And it's actually like it's dripping because it's just come out of the ditch. But with everything it's kind of monochromed. It
Mm-hmm.
looks like the gun is dripping blood.
Ah,
And because I read that in an interview, and they're like, we realized belatedly that that's what it looked like, but it was late in production. We're just like, uh-oh. And
whoops.
but we didn't get called it. We never thought that would get past the censors, but nobody said
Yeah.
anything, and so it's in there.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that there are certain, and there's one of those moments in the episode we just watched that we commented on when it happened, when the Graysons fall and you just see the broken rope
Yeah.
swing into frame, because it's a kids show and because they're not allowed to show anything too graphic. They can't show them actually falling or hitting the ground, or even actually show their dead bodies. So they need to be more creative in coming up with an image to get the point across to us of what has happened. And because they have that limitation of not being able to literally show us any of what happened, you get a much more powerful image with just that frayed rope, and that has so much more impact
Yeah. And the
than
reaction
actually
shot, like
seeing what happened.
you go to the reaction of the crowd, the gasps, and the just the movement, even before you get, and then you get Bruce in front of just these
Yeah,
shadowy figures, and
yeah.
it's so evocative and
And it reminds
so.
me the image and the nature of the image, and also the score coming in behind it, like the music sting when the rope swings into the frame and the music stings really hard, like dang, like oh shit. It reminds me of like something from the Fleischer Superman shorts, which were a major influence on the show. So it
Mhm.
makes sense, but it's one of those moments where they really nail it. It's like, oh man, damn, that was good. Um, you also wanted to tell your flamingo story.
Yes. So while I'm telling this flamingo story, uh, Jonathan 63 says favorite episode. So if you would be willing to share your favorite episodes, which ones you liked best,
Yeah.
I'd love to see that. So, I got this today, because, um, they were going through some stuff and getting rid of some things, and there was a teacher who didn't want this, and my daughter said my mom would like this because, um, from quite a few years ago, the flamingo has been our unofficial but almost practically official department mascot. Um, we we really didn't do much more than just talking about having our department meetings in different rooms each time, and there was a lawn flamingo that we would pass around, and whoever had the meeting in their room would then take the flamingo to whoever they chose to host the next meeting. And, all that meant was the meeting would be held in Europe. Like you didn't have to run the meeting or anything like that. So it
Right.
was a little, a little tradition that developed. And so now we have like flamingo themed, like, little Christmas lights that some teachers hang up, wall hangings and things like that. So a lot of us will wear flamingo gear for, various events and stuff just at the school. So it's fun.
Yeah.
So my daughter thought of me when she saw this, and that was pretty sweet. But um, I think she forgot it and was about to leave without it when one of the teachers, saw it and handed it to her. And it reminded me that I wanted to share the story because I think it's a funny story. And so this teacher is one who didn't get in trouble because they didn't realize it was her. But the school got an angry phone call about a teacher who was, who was saying inappropriate things. And the parent said, this was early in the school year, the parent said that their kid had come home and was talking about the teacher, Mr. Ann. And the parent was incensed and was like, I didn't think this would happen here. That
What?
this is completely inappropriate. That a female teacher would insist on the students calling her Mister. And the secretary is like listening and it's like, I have no idea what it went all the way up to the principal to try to figure out what was going on. And as it happens, when you have a small child talking to you, this teacher's name, she is unmarried, and her last name is Duran.
Miss Duran.
And when you hear that coming from a 5 or 6 year old, it's Mr. Ann.
And this parent is so aggressively transphobic that they jumped to a conclusion instead of assuming that their child is pronouncing the name in a way that makes it sound differently. They're so determined to be transphobic and to raise a stink.
I'm getting this like third or fourth hand. In fairness, the parent might have been just completely confused.
No. The parent called the school because they thought there was a trans teacher that was insisting on being called by their proper gender, and she called the school to raise a stink.
Here's the other thing that gets me. A trans guy would go by, I don't know, Mr. James or Mr. Bill.
Not Mr. Ann.
Yes, it's just it doesn't make any sense. But the fact it took a while to figure out what was going on. But yeah, so that has been resolved.
Yeah.
The rest of the year apparently went quite smoothly for this teacher. And now
yeah.
I have a little flamingo sippy cup.
That's great. And I hope the parent who called to complain falls into a frozen lake and drowns.
That's not likely to happen around here.
I know. Well, then falls into just any kind of drowning is fine.
Oh.
Snorts too deeply in the shower and takes a lungful and drowns. Just, yeah.
Dreams in Darkness. That could have been it. I remember.
Yeah,
the story.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was Perchance to Dream. But yeah.
Yeah, but there was definitely it's definitely some kind of dream sequence, and so I associate that with Perchance to Dream.
But yeah, there are some good nominations for favorite episodes. Feet of Clay is really good. Feet of Clay is one of my favorites too.
And that ending, nice.
Yeah. And the Two-Face two-parter is great too. I mean, yeah. I have never really cared for Christmas with the Joker. Christmas with the Joker is probably one of my least favorite episodes. But the first Killer Croc, not the first Killer Croc, but yeah, the one where Killer Croc hides out. It's basically like a takeoff on Todd Browning's Freaks, where Killer Croc like goes to the circus and finds, friends among the freak show. That's also a really good episode. Yeah.
Seth Stevens, I don't know that we necessarily have that option. Because if the parent had the teacher's email address, it would have been obvious what was going on. Like so-and-so Duran. It was like, okay, we got it.
If you weren't blinded by bigotry.
And also, we don't have classroom phones. So it's not like the teacher could call the school and say, hey, I'd like to speak to Mr. Ann. And the school would have heard Miss Duran. And
they would have assumed, okay, that's
so-and-so. So, I mean, I my guess is the parent actually didn't have a way to get in touch with the teacher. So
I think the parent also... I think the parent should be shoved down a flight of stairs and stomped on with heavy boots.
I want to throw it. I love Batgirl's Return, where Batgirl teams up with Catwoman. We just watched that one. So much fun.
You talk about that one all the time. That's one of your very favorite episodes.
I love it. Oh, Daddy!
And of course,
your little girl now.
And of course, Night of Avalon '86 has Heart of Ice, which yes, of course, Heart of Ice is a classic.
Did they get an Emmy for that one too?
They won the Emmy for best. I think they won. I think Batman won a couple of Emmys throughout its run, but I know Heart of Ice was the one where they won the Emmy for best writing. which it deserved, and which is a high point of the show. Because honestly, as much as I love this show, I mean, let's face it, this episode is an exception because this episode is very well written for the most part. But I mean, some of the episodes, the writing ain't exactly, the number one attraction. Like
Yeah.
um,
The
it's not always
style
a
is just
yeah.
delightful.
But Heart of
Um,
Ice is a terrifically written episode, and so is the one we're watching tonight, and so are most of the others that people are throwing in the chat
mhm.
as their favorites. I mean, Feet of Clay
Harley's
is a really good
Holiday is
episode.
another one that we watched recently.
You
It
Yeah,
just
and another one that you really
I
like.
quote well,
Yeah.
specifically two lines specifically towards the middle, like right before. I think when she gets confronted by Batman the first time, and I actually paid for it, because the mistake is she doesn't get the security tag taken off the dress that she's bought, and she goes out, it sets off the alarm. The security guard is, tries, excuse me, and she's like, no, you can't. And he's like, but the tag, like he's literally trying to tell her, and she shoves him, he falls back into the mannequins, the glass breaks. um and she grabs one of the mannequin's arms and starts beating him with it, runs back into the changing rooms, and Bruce is there with Veronica Vreeland. And he goes back and he's like, Miss, please, I'm sure this is all just a big mistake. And she comes out, she's in full Harley gear. She's put on like the makeup and
Yeah.
everything, which is a little bit concerning that she had all of that with
She
her,
just had it with her. Yeah.
coincidentally. And she says, back off. Forget what she calls it. Back off. I'm armed. She holds the mannequin's
She has an
arm.
arm. Yeah.
And then at the end, she asks, because Batman's been trying to avoid having her like arrested, and wants to is trying to de-escalate the situation. And I really like that about that episode. And
Yeah.
at the end, she says, why you keep being so nice to me? Why are you so nice to me after I ain't been nothing but mean to you? And he says, I had a bad day too once. It's just like, oh.
Yeah.
And she looks up at him and she says, nice guys like you shouldn't have bad days. And then she smooches him good. And she says, call me. And he says, don't press your luck. It's just, it just makes me feel all warm and wiggly inside.
And Night of Avalon points out, yeah, it's nice to see that Bruce is genuinely rooting for Harley to reform. That's something that it reminds me of a moment from and the Devin Grayson's last issue of Gotham Knights that I did a video about not too long ago, where you see a guy who is applying for a job at Wayne Enterprises, and he's just gotten out of prison, and he's talking to the manager that he's interviewing with, and he's sort of telling his story. And his deal is that he got arrested for like a robbery or something, and it was Batman who caught him, and Batman like called him by his name, and said, Mickey, I think you can do better than this, or something like that. And that was like a huge impression on the guy who's like, Batman knows who I am, and Batman believes in me and thinks I can do better. So after he got out of jail, he got this offer from Wayne Enterprises to enter like a job program, which was also Batman, even though he doesn't know that. And so it just reinforces like, that, yeah. And we've talked about this before in other videos, like that it's important that we in the audience see that it's not just Bruce dressing up and beating people up. That if you
he's
want
trying
him
to help in other ways. He actually is trying to use his wealth as Bruce Wayne, not
he's
just
trying to help
gadgets for Batman.
And he cares, and he sees people as more than just, oh, they're all just scum, these thieves and killers, they're nothing but scum. Like he does actually try to give them a chance, to lead a better life.
It's like that line in Taylor Molly's poem that went viral about teaching. I see your kids for who they are and for who they can be. Batman does too.
Yes, indeed.
255 AD, two things. First of all, I don't think it's weird. I think also it's just a reflection. A, it's a reflection of the times. And B, He doesn't adopt Dick.
Technically, he doesn't. Dick is
Not
his
at
ward.
this point. Not at this point.
Yeah.
He doesn't adopt Dick
Until
until
Dick
Dick
is
is
a
an
grown-up.
adult.
Yeah.
And that's how I know that adult adoption exists. That's how I learned about it.
Yeah. No, Dick is his ward, which you would know if you watched the Adam West TV show, because he was always introduced as millionaire Bruce Wayne and his young ward, Dick Grayson.
Which was how it's a nice mnemonic.
Yes.
Because the character of Dick Grayson is played by
Burt Ward. How about that? A ward means basically that
it means you did a good job and somebody wants to give you a prize.
A ward. It means that Bruce is his legal guardian.
Yes, but not his dad.
It's not parent. It's you are legally responsible for this person.
I don't have any with me here. I don't have it, but that is what on my student pass log, after they use the restroom 4 times, they have to get a signature because they've been out of class, and it says signature from a legally responsible adult.
Yes. Yes.
You know, whoever is in charge of you, whoever is responsible, if you don't show up to school, whoever would get in trouble.
Get in trouble. Yeah.
I want.
The person whose ass is on the line because of you.
We have a lot of students who do not live with a biological parent. A lot of students are being raised by grandparents or by or are in foster care or are, you know, being raised by another relative or someone else. So yeah.
Yeah. So shall we watch part 2?
Also, another point, we kind of got away from Harley's Holiday, but
yeah.
the biggest crush on Kevin Conroy for so long, and that was just always, it's just like, you know, when I was going to cons and stuff, I was like, you know, I don't really care anything about autographs, but it would be really cool to meet Kevin Conroy and to tell him how much his work as an actor meant to me, and also that I thought he was cute. Because Kara, teachers are considered to act in loco parentis. We have a legal response. That's why when students are out, you know, for my rule is 10 minutes. I tell students 10 minutes, and I'm telling the office that you're not back yet. I usually give them 11 or 12, and then even before I hit the button, I open the door, look out in the hall,
just double check, like
they're not like.
Make sure.
And sometimes like literally after I punched the button, called the office to tell, you know, so and so. But what I'll say is, you know, I have a student who signed out to use the restroom at thus and such time and hasn't come back yet. And when students are like, "Oh, so's in trouble," I'm like, well, of some sort, you know, I hope everything's okay. I just want to make sure that everything's okay. Because, and what I tell them is, I've had students who've gotten sick, who've been in the bathroom and who've thrown up and just can't, you know, or just curled up in the corner. I literally, this has been years, I've had somebody who passed out. And because, you know, somebody went and found out they were just passed out on the floor in the bathroom. And, you know, I don't know exactly how long they were there, but, you know, it was less than 10 minutes, you know, because I called at minute like 12. So they had enough time to get there at least. So that's 2, you know, maybe 3. But I'm just like, I just want to know that they're okay, you know, and also I'm legally responsible for you. So when there's a fire drill, you go out that door and you line up alphabetically by last. I'm like, my students are always great. I always feel really, really happy when I see other teachers being like, okay, where are you? Where is so-and-so? I'm just like, mine are lined up by last name.
Check me out. So, okay, part 2.
Yes, and Philip Kehoe. Yes, absolutely. Kids need people to love them and to take care of them.
Absolutely.
Care for them and about them. All right.
Okay.
So gonna count us in.
Everybody has part 2 queued up and paused at 0.
0. I'm on a black screen, y'all.
Yes, me too. So I'll count us in just like before, and we'll all hit play when I say play, and we'll watch. And again, we are not skipping the intro. We're going to watch the whole thing.
Listen to that music again.
That's right. So Let's watch part 2 of Robin's Reckoning. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play.
Like Clue, just that first deep note. Oh, it just gets me.
It's a really good opening theme because, like, it's, you know, it's evocative of the Danny Elfman Batman
very
theme,
much. It's highly influenced by it.
Yeah.
Like here.
Yeah.
With the Batmobile cruising down. I mean, the flame at the beginning, the rocket engine.
Well, just the music. I mean, it's.
Well,
you know.
yes, but I mean that and just the way it goes together.
Oh yeah.
And right there, that theme.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that. Well, yeah. That's. I think that is literally the Danny Elfman Batman theme. But yeah.
But she riffs on it so well and blends everything together. Oh, I'm so mad about. I will die mad about this. I mean, because we ain't getting nothing from her because she's gone.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, God, I love it so much.
Previously on Batman.
And also, I had a crush on Dick Grayson, as you well know. And that voice, it's so relatable. He does such a good job with it.
Yeah.
It's not. It uses the Elfman theme.
Yeah, it's not note for note the Elfman theme, but the Elfman theme is in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anthro, I think the rocket engine was introduced by Batman 66, I think. And now it's, you know, like every Batmobile since then has had it, so. I'm going to kill him.
I love that line. He's not going to ace me out.
He's not going to ace me out.
I love it.
Yeah. Yes, Seth, he does have the best butt in all DC and all comics, period.
But is not the word we use.
No.
That
ass. Adjust your tracking. Yeah.
I love that he has a tracker on the Batmobile.
And that Batman can detect it and turn it off. Like, nope, sorry. He's got to adjust his tracking, like I said.
Just like I did last time. Oh, I missed
But first, fencing. And Bruce just absolutely murders him.
He's 10. You got all the energy in the world.
We fenced for 30 seconds. I don't think I need a shower.
They might have warmed up first.
Maybe.
30 minutes on the elliptical. Let me tell you.
Then straight into some fencing. Police work is basically easy, is what I'm saying.
Seth, exactly.
We could lose him for, like, what is he, a ninja?
Well, I mean, they're, you know, they're cops, not FBI, and the FBI doesn't have jurisdiction. Now,
And yeah,
if they find out that he's shown, like if he starts committing crimes in another city and other cops, like he comes up on their radar again, then conceivably they could ask for help from those other cops. But if like he murders somebody in New York, they ain't gonna give him up.
yeah. 255 AD. I mean, I notice those things and I joke about them, but no, I don't really care about that stuff.
SW, is that Superwoman?
Yeah, I'm not sure what SW means.
Well, I'm thinking like not a character name. When you talk about sexy and you say SW, that means workers. I'm like, I don't think that's what we mean here.
I love how
I know, Mister. I love the ants.
even the
We
crooks
small
that
Dick
were
Grayson.
even the crooks that were already inside ran outside just so they could run back inside when they heard the bat plane coming.
Is it really him?
Wow, room and board for $5 a day? Quite a wad. Or face the wrath of Newsboy.
It's wee small Robin.
My shins.
Mr. I love the ants. Ahem. I think some of that is meant to indicate like what the cost of living is. And so if Bruce Wayne is a millionaire and there's a place that has rooms $5 a day,
Yeah.
It's a crappy part of town. But also $5 a day, even in a crappy part of town, the cost of living is not what it is now.
Remember, kids, beating up violent street hoods is easy.
Oh yeah, there's roaches in here, I tell you, roaches. I love her. In orders, never tipping. It fall on his head. The louse. I love her so much. I tip you, Bertha.
Let that be a lesson. Always generously tip your wait staff if you don't want them to snitch you out to little boys who come looking for you in the middle of the night. She does have kind of a Betty Page look, doesn't she, John Nelson?
H.B. Haga, I've always thought of both Metropolis. I've always thought of Metropolis as further inland and Gotham as being on the Atlantic coast.
Yeah. I mean, they're both based on New York.
Yeah, New York at day, New York at night is
usually, yeah.
It but depends also, on the version, Gotham is so like grimy that I think of it as New Jersey. That's why I put it in New Jersey.
Shout out to New Jersey. Oh, God, he's a shin
It
kicker.
worked last time.
Excuse me.
Pardon me.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun. Jonathan 63, I don't think of it that way, and in part mostly because of Boston's historicity. Gotham is heavily industrial, and I don't think of it as a major colonial city, which is why it's also not Philadelphia.
Why'd you save my life?
I don't care about he's so upset. He's like, what? You could have just let me die, man, as long as you didn't got the guy who killed my parents. Ah! It's Wee Widow Woman! Gotta give him a hug!
And live. I brought you here to kill you.
HB Haga, me. My fan fiction doesn't turn into something else. If I think it's going to be this, that's what I get.
He's seen my face, Alfred. He can't be allowed to leave. Boy, that is a hot torch. Holy shit.
He also gets his equipment from the best.
It's like a pen torch, and it just melts through solid locks in seconds.
Well, yes, but solid what? This is a cheap part of town.
That's true.
255 AD, exactly.
Oh, yes, hello, wrong number, sorry.
Oh, I love this scene. Death, man. Me.
Boy. You know, I think he's done more meth than any character ever in a children's TV show.
He's the dark angel of death, man, and he wants me. Oh, what you boss? How should I know? God, I love it.
Be right with you, boys.
It's very noisy when you have a gun like that. They care.
It actually worked.
Protection is my racket.
Nice Batman you got here. Sure be a shame if something happened to it.
Yeah, I love this.
I curse you! Limited ammunition has been my undoing.
See, this is why we need to make it much more difficult to get magazines that hold lots of bullets.
Absolutely.
We don't want to get out there. That's where Batman is, and we don't like that. Brad Freeman, I'm not sure what you mean by this, and I'm very curious. Oh no, they're being smart. If we don't have the body in hand, oh, I love this. Da da da. Da da da. Silhouetted against the enormous moon. It's never actually that big.
Exactly, Kara. For hate's sake, I spit my last.
Yes. Oh, so good, so good.
But the horse looks surprised.
A little bit crazy.
255 AD, I don't think so. Although, again, it kind of depends on the episode. But I don't, generally speaking, I don't think it was supposed to be bulletproof.
Yeah. I think part of it is he was backed up, and the bullets went through the ceiling, and then when he came through, it broke, and he landed wrong, and that's why his knee got injured. Yeah, Jonathan 63. It's amazing what you can do with animation.
Yeah.
Oh God, they're in the carnival.
Yeah, just keep shooting at nothing. Why doesn't that guy have a gun? He's just got a pipe.
Da, 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 da. What's I know this song. That's how much I love this episode.
Boy, he is really getting his use out of those bolos, isn't he?
And they cared about him. And yet takes your chances. See, they actually were concerned about you, Tony.
Yeah.
This is what shows that you're a jerk.
Yeah, you know.
Oh.
And now it gets dragged along the longest pier ever.
Listen to the music! It's so exciting! Just gonna throw you out of bed here, just for funsies.
Oh, look, the cops right on time.
And Batman in front of him. Oh.
Good work, boys. Another fine collar for Gotham's finest. I knew you'd fuck it up.
You're a jerk. And the sunrise, so we're Gotham Harbor.
There we have it. It's a really good episode. And now that we've watched
Right in the feels.
now that we've watched both halves back to back, I do think part one is better than part two.
So much. Yeah,
but
the ending is kind of hammy there.
Well, and it's just, I mean, I talked about this in one of my, I think in my my Star Trek review of Best of Both Worlds. Like, for the most part, most two-parters, like the first half is the more interesting half, but because the second half is usually pretty straightforward. It's like, okay, and now here's how they catch the guy, or okay, here's how they get out of whatever jam they were in at the end of part one. But with this one especially, I noticed, like, because I wanted to talk about it when we finished watching the first half, but I didn't have a chance. We were talking about other stuff. But the animation in part one is really, really well done. I mean, the animation in part two isn't bad, certainly, but the animation and just the styling and the lighting and everything, like the way that they animate Batman during the flashbacks when it's little baby Dick, and Batman is
Batman
like
or Bruce?
Batman. And when Batman is at Stromwell's, huh?
Okay. Got it.
When Batman is at Stromwell's place and he's
because I was thinking when you were talking about Batman, the only time we see Batman with Baby Dick is in the second one, but you meant just Batman in the first episode.
In the episode, in the flashbacks when Dick is the animation in that, because like Batman in those scenes he's really, really heavily in shadow. You get almost no good look at him at all.
Love it.
You just see him in shadow and in like the headlights of the oncoming car. And I mean, it's so gorgeously drawn and animated. It's some of the best animation of the whole series, I think.
One episode that was not mentioned in the chat is Almost Got Him. Another one of my
That's
favorites.
a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
Specifically, what made me think of that was you're talking about in Shadows and the reveal of Batman with the swinging light. Oh my gosh.
Because it's the
so
silhouette
good.
changes. Yeah.
And of course, just him being Killer Croc. One time I threw a rock at it. Well, it was a big rock.
It was a big rock.
It disguises Killer Croc, and you see it because, like, the light swinging, all of a sudden, when he's in shadow, all of a sudden you see the silhouette of the eyes.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And the whole episode, as a vignette episode, is just, it's a lot of fun. It's
a really good episode. Yeah.
We've been watching them sequentially, but I might have to sneak in and just pull that one out.
But yeah, this is, I would say, I mean, a lot of the best episodes of the animated series are two-part episodes. In fact, and I think, just going off the top of my head, most of the two-part episodes that they ever did are really good.
Yeah.
But this is close to the top. I mean, it's really, really well done.
I think I read more than you do, but and that's something I've noticed with book series too.
I think you definitely
Um,
read more than I do. I don't think that's even in question.
well, I'm saying I think just because not everybody knows that,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're more of a well, you watch more movies than I do
Yes, that is
by
the
far,
division of
and more
labor, but
television.
that's the division of labor between us. I will do the watching, you will do the reading.
It's just when I come back to watching something, it's hard for me to pick it back to get back into it. Whereas if I come back to reading something, easy as pie. It's so easy.
Yeah.
And you usually don't watch things in pieces. You watch it through. And I
Yeah.
very rarely have the attention span to do that anymore, which is something that's something that I miss. That's something that I don't know if it was because of the the social situation of the pandemic, or because I caught COVID and it's actually like I have, that is something that is a long consequence of that,
Mm-hmm.
or just a part of aging. But that is something that I used to have that I don't really have to the extent that I did previously. And I've noticed it. So I miss
Yeah.
that sometimes.
But, you know, a 30-minute TV show is a good way to deal with that because,
Mm-hmm.
you can watch a
Well,
Batman episode without commercials. A Batman
22.
episode is 22 minutes.
Yep.
And, John Nelson has an interesting question.
Uh-huh.
What about the sequel series? What it's typically now just referred to as
Yeah.
the new Batman Adventures, but
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
It's not
yeah.
I don't mind having aging up the characters, but I don't think the writing's as strong. And
Yeah.
it doesn't capture me the way that the Batman Adventures and the Adventures of Batman and Robin did.
Yeah. The original, yeah.
Like,
I when they first announced it, because I think the new Batman Adventure started in like 97, I think.
mhm,
So the original Batman animated series had come and gone, and it was still being shown all the time in reruns, but the new episodes had all been released. And
yep.
they were doing Superman, and then they said, "Hey, we're going to do Batman again." And, it's like, oh, and it's going to take place like some time. It'll be the same versions of the characters. It's the same world as
Mhm.
Batman the Animated Series, but it'll be a few years later, and Batgirl will be in all the episodes now, and Tim will be Robin instead of Dick, and Dick will be Nightwing, and that
We
really
just
got me
skipped right over
interested.
Jason.
Jason, yeah. Um, but well, they gave Tim Jason's backstory. So I mean, let's be honest. Like the animated version of Tim is basically Jason, just with Tim's
Gosh, I
name.
don't remember
It's
that.
it's the
I
exact
literally
same. It's they just
really
put Tim's name on Jason's backstory. Yeah.
interesting.
Uh,
So he was trying to steal the tires off the
I
Batmobile.
think so. I think so. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah. And he
boy,
was like he was like a street punk who, yeah, Batman like adopted, and yeah, he was very, yeah. The Batman animated Tim is
ouch,
basically
ouch,
Jason.
ouch.
Uh,
I
but
like that's a bummer.
yeah, but when I first heard about it, I was excited because I was like, oh, Nightwing, because I love Nightwing. I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean, who doesn't?
who doesn't? You know, um, and then you watch it, and it's not like terrible. I mean, there are some pretty terrible episodes of it, but it's not altogether. It's not like, oh God, what am I watching? It's not like awful, but it just doesn't measure up
It's
to
just
the standard of
it rides
the
the
of
coattails
yeah,
very much.
yeah,
It really feels like that.
yeah.
And I have a couple of things to say. So quick, Brad Freeman, you say aging sucks, not recommended. There are some things about aging that suck. And some of it I'm not entirely sure is just aging, and some of it, it might be, but it might be just things I'm doing differently that I could make better choices. I don't know. So it's hard to say, but overall I like it. I have newer experiences. I have more experience to draw from. I know
Mhm.
more things. I make choices with a greater amount of experience, and I feel I like myself. Every decade has gotten better so far. So I hope that keeps up,
Yeah.
and I hope the same is true for you.
Yeah.
Um, One thing when we were talking about Tim and Jason, I really didn't like Jason Todd as a character. Like when I was first like acquainted with him, but
Mhm.
I feel like that as a character could have been done better. Like my since then it's been Jason Todd deserved better.
Yeah.
Like they created Jason Todd and gave him backstory that they did, and it feels like it's like he's the not Dick Grayson. And like nobody deserves that. That's just like that's not a nice way to introduce a character. Tim's introduction felt much more like they were just writing a character. I love the
Yeah.
fact that he figured out who Batman was. I
Yeah.
love that
It's
so
and
much.
it's a genius way to introduce Robin and to establish right
Yes, it
away,
is
like,
that
yeah,
he's not just some schlub,
he's not just
but
some kid that Batman found. He
yeah,
has qualities himself that qualify him for the job. Yeah.
but it feels like for a long time, even after they killed him off, it was that he was just not Dick Grayson. That was
Yeah.
almost all he was, and he could have been so much more. And I feel like they went over the top with it when they freaking brought him back from the dead.
Yeah. Well, I
But
mean,
at the same time, the idea of even Batman, who we've talked about caring for the people of Gotham and seeing them as individuals, um, about him being the one to see Jason Todd as more than just some punk,
right.
some little thug.
Yeah.
Um, and this never would have worked when they introduced him. But these days, you know, downtown metropolitan area. I mean, how is this kid white?
Well,
You know,
yeah.
I think that would have been very interesting to explore, especially when you have Bruce Wayne as someone who's white, a rich white guy.
Yeah.
And that dynamic would have been really interesting to explore, and wouldn't have been something that would have crossed the writer's mind most likely in that era,
Mhm.
or probably wouldn't have sold. It would have been not woke but too PC for the era. But
Oh,
there's
yeah.
some
Yeah.
really interesting, potentially really interesting dynamics there, that would be fun to explore.
Yeah,
um,
absolutely. Absolutely. 255 AD a little while ago said, do you think this would work better if Zuko was more formidable? He seems kind of pathetic ultimately. I don't really think that hurts it. Because I mean, Zuko is just a walking MacGuffin. Zuko is just there to give Batman and mostly Robin someone to be after.
also.
And I think he's entertaining. Like I think that I've always liked the way they make Zuko just such an out and out one dimensional scumbag.
Mhm.
And then in the second half, when it's like, modern day Zuko, who's been on the run for 10 years, and he's bug eyed and he's strung out
Yeah,
and,
I love the face look. Like
yeah,
he's thought Batman is after him this whole
yeah,
time, and not that he
yeah,
hasn't been, but he hasn't been like the primary focus. I like that. I mean, because you can very easily see it as Zuko didn't necessarily. I mean, he wasn't intending to kill the Graysons. He was just intending to cause an accident that would result in getting his money. That's all he wanted. And
yeah,
so he was in over his head, and he bit off more than he could chew, very much so. That's why he went on the run. I mean, I've always thought he like literally left Gotham and went somewhere
yeah.
else.
That's the impression I
um
got from the episode. Yeah,
and
that
so
he
I
hasn't
think
been in town.
he's not just like a complete schlub, but he's his uncle gives him crap because he's like, I'm not, you're a blight on the family business.
Yeah,
We
you're an
have things,
embarrassment.
we
Yeah,
have got them under control. Okay, things work a certain way because we make it so, you know
right. And
and
you
you're
come
out
in
here
here and
causing
screw it up.
problems.
Yeah,
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 I
absolutely.
like it. I like the way it is.
Yeah, yeah. And like I say, it's not about Zuko's not there to be a threat. Like, of
Mm-mm.
course, he's never a realistic threat to Batman or
He's a
Robin.
him,
That yeah,
man. That's like if I got the chance to play Tony Zuko,
Tony
man,
Zuko.
the way he just like just the chewing on the lines. He ain't
Oh
even
boy.
chewing the scenery. He's just chewing up his lines.
Yeah.
He's the dark angel of death, man, and he wants me.
How
Why
should
you,
I
boss?
know?
How should I know? Man, it's so great. Like all of his lines. Can't run a business without insurance.
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah.
he's so much fun.
And like I say, he's just
Fun.
flat out. He's just a flat out scumbag.
Yeah, and
You
he's
know, like
Mr. I Love the End says he's out here hustling circus folks
yeah.
because they got so much money.
And it's a good example too, if you know if you know the history of the characters in the comics. It's a good example of something that the animated series did repeatedly and usually did very well, which was take characters from the comics and, generally speaking, like, keep their stories from the comics, but
Yeah,
just strip it down to the basics and cut
yeah.
off all of the fat. Because Zuko was the guy who killed Dick's parents in the comics, but in the comics, like, he worked for Boss Maroney, and there's all this organized crime stuff involved, and like Robin, takes a picture of him killing somebody else that's evidence for his trial. Like, it gets really complicated. Because in the comics, the Batman comics did this with
Sequential
Bruce's.
narratives.
Well, and also, like, they did this with when they told the stories of the how they caught uh the killers of Bruce's parents too, was in order so they could go back to the well with it. They told the
Mhm.
story of, oh, here's the story of how Robin caught the guy who killed his parents. And then, a few years later, oh, by the way, here's this other story about the guy who hired the guy who, you know what I mean? And they did the same thing with Joe Chill. It was like, oh, Joe Chill, he killed Thomas and Martha Wayne. Oh, but he was working for this other guy, and
Mhm.
they complicate the story so they can tell you more of it and go back to the well with it. And with the animated series, they're just like, nope, it was
That's
Tony
it.
Zuko. He was a small time crook. He was,
He
trying
was
to start a
connected to this
protection
crime
racket against the
family,
circus.
but the rest of the family was like, dude, you suck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kara, okay, so Kara, it's entirely possible that he would think that somebody would, I don't know, check their equipment. Now, not that they hadn't checked their equipment previously, but that they would notice it ahead of time, and that, think an accident had happened, and that, they needed insurance to make sure that their equipment wasn't faulty.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then, but if somebody got hurt a little bit, well, accidents happen.
These things happen.
These things do happen,
That's why you need insurance.
Yep. And I know you're not a big fan of the Phantom of the Opera, but this is not the musical. Well, it's a movie of the musical, but it's got Minnie Driver
Oh
as
yeah.
Carlotta the Diva, and I love her so
Yeah.
much. And she says, and just this one line, always to me, these things do happen. I'm just like,
And
she would fit in so well right here.
there is a Batman connection. Do you know the Batman connection with the
Batman movies?
Not with her, but with that Phantom of the Opera movie just in general? There is a Batman connection.
Well, I'm sure I could make some up, but I don't know the one you're referring to. My thought is that the chandelier falls, like, quonk, and that's the big, Phantom moment, and
Okay.
like the way that the Graysons fall.
That's good, but no, it's much simpler than that. Who directed the Phantom of the Opera movie?
I should have realized that. I'm going to hazard a guess that it's somebody who directed one of the Batman movies.
Indeed, it was Joel Schumacher.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, it was certainly dramatic, much less. There were fewer nipples in that one.
In Phantom? I would imagine so. Yeah.
I mean, and you got opportunities. They're wearing opera costumes, dude.
That's, yeah.
You can put nipples on those suckers.
Put some nips on them. Nobody's even gonna look twice at it.
Yeah. So funny. Oh, yep.
Yep. Yeah, and yeah, it's the Phantom of the Opera musical I have a problem with, not the story itself. Actually, the silent version, the Lon Chaney version where he plays the Phantom is a terrific movie. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but I really like it. Um, yes, Philip Joel Schumacher, the director of the two least well thought of Batman movies. Yes, and deservedly so, by the way, because they're both garbage. But yeah,
Holy rusted metal, Batman.
holy, it's rusted and full of holes.
I
Holy,
love. I cannot tell you how much I love that he points it out. I love that so much. It is.
I like
It's.
that. I
It's.
like that he says holy rusted metal Batman, and Batman goes, "What?" And then he explains it, and Batman goes, "Oh."
Like that makes it make sense.
So that's why you just said that like that. Okay, I got it.
It's so, oh golly, it's so great. Oh, I will say I enjoy that movie so much. Oh my goodness, there's so many things I really enjoy about it. Like the so Two-Face has the malls, Sugar and Spice,
Yes, yes. Debbie
and
Mazar and Drew Barrymore.
they are, first of all, they're freaking gorgeous. And they really do a good job with their parts. And one of them is with Jim Carrey at Enigma, and
Yeah.
at some kind of, I'm guessing, charity event, they show up in the same tux.
Yes, yes.
Now here's the thing: I can't tell one tux from another. I don't know who
It's
can.
a tux. Yeah, it's a tux.
Tux. They all look the same.
They all
Y'all
look the
like
same.
penguins. But and then one of them, I think it's Drew's character, says, "How come you don't look so good in that tux, Eddie?" I'm just like, she's just honestly like blinking eyes, innocently, blondely confused. And it's just so freaking adorable. And then one of the other things that I actually honestly like is when Edward Nygma has found out that, this brain thing, the brainwave that, will reprogram people or whatever is gonna, being, and he shoves the dude out the window. He like shunk, and he knocks him on the head with a coffee pot, and then he looks after him. He says, "Caffeine will kill you." And just Jim Carrey's delivery on that is the intensity and the glee of it really makes it. I'm like, ooh, nice.
He's in full Jim Carrey mode.
He really is.
Yeah.
There's but not just the manicness is there, but it's very focused. It's not as broad as it sometimes is, and that, there's a little bit of scariness to it that I liked. It's funny and a little bit scary, and I like that.
We will probably, I mean, I know we shouldn't, I'm not suggesting we do this like as a live stream, but just personally with just the two of us. We'll probably have to do it in installments because it is a long movie, and I know that you struggle with paying attention to long movies, but we have to watch The Batman at some point. The Robert Pattinson one. It's so good. It's so good.
I have been. No. I did watch the first Christopher. I was almost about to say that I haven't watched a Batman movie since Batman and Robin.
Right. You told me
I did watch
you saw Batman Begins.
One.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you haven't seen The Dark Knight.
That's it. Nope.
Yeah. Dark Knight is, I mean, The Dark Knight is great too. The Dark Knight is, I mean, I think The Dark Knight is still probably my favorite Batman movie, but the Batman with Pattinson, I believe you think is so. Like, it's right there. It's so good. And the score, speaking of like great, Batman movie scores, the score, Giacchino did the score to the Batman, and it is so good. It is. I mean, he does everything. He does everything, but it's so good. Oh, it's so good.
Maybe. Well, hang on.
255 AD. I know. I see your message that long piers are a thing. Actually, long piers are a thing here too. There are some piers in California that are pretty fucking long too. I've never been there, so I can't speak from experience. But I've seen them on Baywatch, so I know that they
As one
exist,
does.
as one does.
Okay. Well, no. Maybe in July?
Whenever's good for you.
Oh.
Whenever's good for you. But yeah, it's
See, Brad Freeman, here's the thing though. Here's the thing. Here's the wonderful thing. It's like now with the technology that we have, you can just be like, oh,
skip to the
here's
good
one of those
parts.
parts. Skip to the good. It's like William Goldman and The Princess Bride, the good parts version.
The good parts version.
And bonus, it'll be a lot shorter.
Hey. Okay, so before we wrap up tonight, we do have a couple of programming notes.
Yeah.
So no, it's please don't apologize. Please don't apologize. You don't.
Okay, I'll just shut up.
No, don't. You don't have to do that either.
I feel really bad though. It's been a rough day for me, y'all.
We're not. There won't be a Trek Reluctantly on Wednesday. We originally had scheduled it as usual, but we're going to have to push it to the week after because Dana has a thing.
Can I explain?
If you want, of course.
I would like to.
Please.
Y'all, barring them kicking me out because I can't do it, or because of me screwing up my scheduling and double booking myself, I'm going to be in an opera. It's just a little one. It's just one act. Yeah, but I get to be in an opera, and one of our staging rehearsals is next Wednesday from like 6 until 9. So I'm gonna be 6 until 9:30 actually, I think.
Yeah.
Really late. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I've never been in an opera before. I've never sung.
That's really exciting.
I am. I'm really excited about it. So yeah. And then I will say just as a heads up, there are a few more coming up because I do this. In addition to being in an opera, I'm also taking some courses to get my ESOL addition to my teaching certificate. So there are a few meetings that I have during the summer where the class is actually on Zoom like this. Not on YouTube, just on Zoom.
Just private.
Yeah, but they're on there. A couple of them are on Wednesdays. So but we won't be completely gone for the summer. So just pay attention.
Yeah, we'll just let you know when we're going to be off.
Make sure that you are following Steve on Twitter because he puts everything there, and on Facebook.
So that's the first programming note, that we're not doing Trek Reluctantly on Wednesday. So you have to wait an extra week to watch Paradise Lost on Deep Space Nine with us.
I'm so sorry. And that means another week until we find out who the murderer is on Poirot.
Part 2 of Peril at End House on Poirot. Also, tomorrow.
That's right.
At 5 p.m. Eastern, so an hour earlier than our usual live stream start time. At 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, right here on my channel, me and Dana and Jason, who was in the chat earlier, I think he must have fallen asleep.
Maybe he had better.
It's like 5 o'clock. It's like 5 o'clock where he is.
I was going to say he had better things to do than watch Batman the Animated Series, but
probably.
Let's be honest. What better things could anybody possibly have to do than watch Batman the Animated?
There's nothing. There's no excuse.
Especially Robin's Reckoning 1 and 2.
There's no excuse. But so we're good. Tomorrow at 5 Eastern is the Ensign's Log live stream. Our post season 5 live Q&A, where it'll be all three of us on the stream together, and we'll spend the whole hour talking about the show and answering questions from the chat, and it'll be great. So hopefully if you are a fan of the Ensign's Log, you can join us tomorrow starting at 5 p.m. Eastern for the Ensign's Log live stream.
And hopefully if you are a fan, you will forgive me, and I will apologize in advance because it will make me feel better about things that I don't remember from the show that I said, and they're just not there anymore. They're just
Can
gone.
I tell you though, and I know I think you and I have talked about this before. There are things on the show that I have said and done that I've completely forgotten.
Yeah, I know, but you've been on the show like 3 times as long as I have.
Okay, but I'm just saying.
I take
I'm just
extensive
saying.
notes, you guys. Like I take extensive notes, and I will go back through them. They're like, okay, and I'm like, oh crap, what voice did I have for that character? Like I take notes. Like when I have another new character, I don't know how y'all keep them straight. No idea, because holy Moses, I'm just like, oh god, what was the voice for that one? And like I go back through and I'm like, okay, wait, what do I need to know about this? What do I need to know about this? It's not just the Trek stuff that I don't know, the stuff that I've done
It's
in
the
the
stuff from
show.
our show. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I'm really
Okay.
sorry if you ask the question and I don't know the answer. I'm so sorry in advance. So Kara Hughes asked what opera. It's called Sor Angelica. It's by see, I don't remember things. It's not Pagliacci, but it's Puccini. It's by Puccini. And
Puccini.
yeah, it's part of actually a triad. This is his lyric opera. So despite the fact, Steve, I've told you the plot, this is not actually a tragedy. It is a lyric opera.
Oh.
There was another one that was part of the set that was the tragedy.
So this isn't the sad one.
It's sad, but
It's not,
apparently
well,
there's one that's
yeah.
even worse.
There's one
I don't
even
know. I haven't listened
sadder.
to it. Yeah, so
So okay, so that's the second programming note.
mhm.
There's one more that I want to tell everybody, and that
What's
is
that?
that next month in June we're doing another one of these on Friday where we're going to watch another movie. We mentioned it already a couple weeks ago, but in I think it's the same week. It's the Friday after, or the Friday in the week when the new Indiana Jones movie comes out, because next month is when the new Indiana Jones movie comes out.
I wrote
Indiana
it down.
Jones.
Do you want to know when? Do you want to know when it is? Because I wrote
Please,
it down.
please. I think I remember, but please tell me.
It's June 16th.
June 16th, Friday, June 16th. The week that the new Indiana Jones opens, and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And this is supposedly the last Indiana Jones movie. Swear to God, this time we're not kidding.
Cross my heart and hope to cry, they
Cross
say.
our heart and hope to die. So we thought it would be fun, since the new last Indiana Jones movie is coming out that week, that we would watch the first last Indiana Jones movie, which of course is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Which is just so much fun.
Which is such a great movie. Yeah.
So yeah, it's part of this series. So
yeah.
For people who I know, I saw somebody in the chat who said, "Oh, I came in and I missed it." So yeah, this is, you do put these in a playlist, right? So people
yes, the back row. Yeah.
So yeah, if you come in late for that one, or if you miss it, it'll be part of the back row, because these are ones that we both like, and we both already seen and both like.
It's just for funsies.
For funsies, yay.
I mean, not that Trek Reluctantly isn't for funsies too, but you know, there's not like,
it is,
there's
but
not
a
premise
time,
to this one. It's just
like, especially since you started you started picking episodes, like the ones that are most significant, or the ones that you
really for Deep Space Nine. Yeah.
It's you always say no pressure, but I can't help but feel it, because I'm like, oh, it's another episode that everybody likes, and I'm like, what if I don't enjoy it as much as everybody wants me to? The pressure's there. I can't help. I put it. I realize it's me. It's my fault.
I know.
Put it on myself.
I'm not unsympathetic, and I think it's very sweet that you feel that way. But I also, like, it's completely alien to me. Like, if I don't like something, I just don't like it. I don't feel bad for not liking it. Like, it's, you know, oh, I didn't like it. Sorry. Like,
but I care about our audience and the people in the chat, and I've gotten to know them, and I don't want to I don't like letting people down when they're people I care about.
You're sweet.
Well, thanks. So
yeah.
A couple of things real quick.
Okay.
Andrew, I want to say disagree with you, because I think Steve agrees with you that Last Crusade is your second favorite, right?
Raiders. I think Raiders is the best one, and Last Crusade is second.
Last Crusade is at the top of the list.
I mean, I'm not going to wrestle you over it. Like, Last Crusade is great.
No,
I mean,
I wouldn't wrestle you. I'd punch you in the face.
Okay. Wow. Wouldn't be no wrestling match. And what was there another thing you wanted to remark on before we wrapped up?
Just look through and see if there's any last stuff. Nope, I guess that's it. I'm not sure what H.B. Haga meant by the chief engineer, but I think we'll wrap it up, and then I'll just check the comments.
There we go. All right.
Leave comments.
Yes, please. Thanks for joining us, everybody, for
It's been a
Robin's
lovely
Reckoning.
evening. Thank you. Y'all made my day. Y'all made my week.
Aw. We'll see you next month for Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. But more importantly, we'll see you tomorrow for the Ensign's Log live stream.
I hope
See you
so.
then,
I
everybody.
hope we get to see you tomorrow.
Yes. Hope you
Bye.
can make it. Bye, everybody.